So I guess that's a little bit disappointing. There's a little bit of a speck on his chin there. Hey guys, welcome to Brick Hub. Today we're going to review the Mezco 112 Collective Magneto. This is the standard version in his purple and red outfit. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below to let me know what you think, and subscribe to this channel hitting that notification bell. Also, check out our Instagram page. So first things first, I'll look at the box. It's just a gray and red. On the side it says Magneto, and then you turn it around to the back and it shows the figure along with all of its accessories. The figure is a pretty imposing guy. He has the cape, and there are two different head portraits, an unmasked and a masked. I kind of wish they would have included an extra mask so he could just kind of hold it in his hands, but we have some hands that have him using a little bit of the magnetism effect. Also, he has his base, which is the standard X-Men base except in red and purple, along with 6 other hands. Taking a look at the inside of the box, we have the figure along with all the accessories. Of course, there was an extra tray on top, but I removed that just so you guys can see these things a little bit more easily. Now, this wasn't really advertised very well on the box, but these two hands actually have, right here, they have magnets on them, so you can actually put I don't know, something made of iron or steel on there to stick on, and that's actually a pretty cool feature. And there is his gun effect where he's taking apart a pistol, which is pretty cool. So here is the final figure out of the box, and I've got to say, while it is an impressive figure, it is a little bit underwhelming compared to what my expectations were. Visually, I think it's a pretty spectacular piece, and even though it's a little bit different from the 1990s X-Men 1 cover from Jim Lee, you can see that it was clearly inspired by it. You know, the color scheme is matching. It does have some of the circles, even though they're not necessarily in the right shape or the right number, but it still does look very good. Now, one thing I did not like was that the neck is just not as mobile as you would think. He can barely look down, he can barely look up, and it's because underneath, this piece right here, this neck is very, very rigid. And so, I don't know, maybe you can get more movement with the regular Unmasked Head, but that was a little bit disappointing to me. But also, I think I've never seen seen this problem on Mezco figures before, but this is my first one that had this problem. But the cloth is kind of getting caught up in the joints, and to a pretty serious degree, and that, I guess I've just never had it that bad, and so it kind of makes it almost look like these are two different segments when in fact it's one clothed arm. And as far as the cape goes, it definitely feels good, and it feels heavy, but the wire, I don't know, the wire's just not doing it what I would have expected it to do. I really wanted it to kind of look like he's flying, or like the wind's blowing or something like that, but that is just not happening. And so I don't know how I feel about that. It definitely looks good, but it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. As far as articulation goes, you know, he can turn his head left and right. He can turn his head down a little bit, up a little bit, and the arms can go up to here, which is actually pretty good, all the way down by his side. The arms bend to a little past 90, which is pretty good. Swivel, and there's a small swivel here as well, but it really doesn't move much. He can kick all the way up to 90 and kick back to about here. Let's see if he can kick his butt. Almost there. As far as his legs go, you can swivel the legs like that, and the feet turn left and right, but you know, it is still a Mezco, so the feet just really do not move much on their joints, which, you know, is a little bit of a weakness of Mezco figures. Now, if you look closer, you can see that there are some kind of printed details that, and Mezco usually does this just to give their characters a little bit more flavor, just because otherwise they might look like they're in pajamas. But I think they actually did a pretty good job with that one. I do think the belt rides a little bit too high, and it's kind of fixed in place, so you can't adjust it to make it come down, so that's a little bit disappointing, but otherwise looks pretty good. I don't know, it's I think the stitch work is much better here on the back side than they usually are. Usually there's much bigger gaps in between each stitch. I don't know exactly what that would be called, but I do like that on this figure. And because of the cape, he is a little bit back heavy, but he is still able to stand on 2 feet, which is always good. Now, he doesn't have too many accessories, but he does come with a few that are just really spectacular, and this one in particular is my favorite. Now, this one goes on his left hand, but basically it's him deconstructing some kind of handgun. Here you can see the slide, the lower receiver, some bullets being pulled out, and it's hard to describe. Like, maybe you guys can see, but this is basically just like an empty cone, and then they have like this like spiraling electricity or magnetism effect, and it shows all the parts coming apart. And I don't know, it's really hard to capture on camera, and I don't know if you guys can actually see and notice, but it is very, very impressive. He also comes with a wide open palm, as well as a little bit of a grabbing, sort of like he's using his magnetism powers to pick some item up. And you get 2 sets, one for each side, obviously. He also comes with 2 of these, and the cool thing about this is that these are real magnets, so you can actually, I don't know, if you have something that's magnetic, you can actually, connect it using that. Now, visually, I don't think it looks very good. I think it's probably best if you find some metal piece to hold up with this, but still a cool idea. And, I said there are 2, it's 1 for each hand. It doesn't look very good, but cool thought. And finally, he does come with this one unmasked head, and this is a very, very nice unmasked head. I don't know how, I mean, there is a bit of a seam line there, which most Mezco figures are generally pretty good about hiding. This one did not do as good a job, but still looks pretty good overall. I just like that stern expression. It just looks very believable and very realistic at the same time, and at the same and all while looking like a comic book character, which is always very much appreciated. And with this figure, the posability options are pretty endless. One of the missed opportunities, though, is that they did not have an empty helmet, because I would have loved to have something like this where it looks like he's just looking at his helmet or something, and that one was just pretty disappointing to me. I don't know why they didn't make something like that. So I haven't quite decided how I'm going to pose him, but I definitely want to use this in some way, and probably I'll put him on the flight stand, just because, I mean, he should be flying, I figure. I mean, I don't think there are any cool scenes of Magneto just standing around. But anyways, that's it for this video, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and also subscribe to this channel for more content just like this. Thanks, guys. Bye. Quick shot of what he looks like when he's on the flight stick, and I think this is the pose that I'm going to display him in my X-Men display with, because this looks really good. It looks like he's starting to use his right hand to maybe lift up something behind him, and he's using his left hand to stop someone shooting at him, which I think looks pretty good.